creators, welcome back to the club. The Black Creators Club is the go-to resource for Black movers and shakers in Hollywood, reactions to the latest pop culture tea, and our own entertainment pursuits. I'm your host, Akila Friend, and I'm joined by my cheetah-licious co-host, Ebony Chapman. Hey, Ebony.
Hey, girl.
Hey, and today we have so much to discuss with you. We cannot wait. Usually, as usual, we start with our Maven to Maven check-in before going in and giving our 2 cents on all the latest things happening in entertainment. Today, we're going to be talking about the eve before the election. You're going to be hearing this on the day of the election, but we're the night before. We're going to be talking about everything dealing with that. We're going to be giving, our 2 cents on the Shaderoom, having a new moderator. We're talking about our main topic being, are your parents responsible for your BS? And finally, talking about a recent Breakfast Club interview where Top Dog Entertainment artist Reason said something very, very interesting. You got to stay tuned to hear more about it. But before we dive in, of course, let's talk about our Mavens. My Maven to my left, Ebony. What's going on? How have you been this week?
Girl, this week has been great. And not only has this week been great, it's been kind of jam-packed a little bit. I got a little news to tell y'all, a little something.
All right.
First, I will start with the fact that my mom and I on Sunday went and got matching tattoos. I'm going to show you what it looks like.
Look at that. What does it say for the people listening?
Right. So it is Roman numeral 12. So that's XII. And then in the center, it's kind of like broken up. So in the center, it's the word written out, 12. And the significance, and we got it on our wrist. So it's at the lower part of our wrist, like where you can wear bracelets and watches. So I wanted something that was like easily covered up. I low-key kind of wanted it smaller than this, but he was like, no, that can't happen. So it's fine. But the reason why my mom and I both got the number 12 was because we're both born on the 12th of our birth months. So she's April 12th and I'm May 12th. And so it was just like something really cute and simple that we both have in common. And I love that. Like, I love it for that reason. Just the fact that like it's in alignment and we're kind of like really bonding a lot lately. And especially now that we're in quarantine together and I live with her. So, we're past that like teenage.
So cute.
Yeah. We're past that like teenage stage where you're like always mad at your mom for like no reason. Yeah. We're like, we're past that. We're past that stage now.
Is that your first tattoo?
It's my first and only tattoo.
Wow.
And I honestly think that it will be my only tattoo. I'm not gonna lie. Like honestly, right now, I get how people are like, oh my God, once you get one, you want 1,000, right? I get it because now that it's over, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. Let's go another round, But to be honest with you, it hurts. Like it hurt. He was like, I'm going to do the first line so you can see how it feels. And I was like, okay. And he did the first line and I was like, oh, a little tickle. That's not even bad at all. But the word 12 actually hurt the worst, even though it's literally one line. It wasn't like he was shading on that part. That actually hurt the worst. And then the shading, I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know, the whole thing, I was pinching the side. I was sweating. I was like, okay, like once this is over, I'm happy it's over. And I don't think I'm going back.
I'm sure. Oh my gosh. You say that now, a year from now, you're probably going to get something else, but I'm ready for it.
Right. We'll be like, oh my God, Akila, guess what? I got another tattoo. But for right now, I think I'm so good. My dad doesn't know yet. And I'm like freaking out if he ever figures it out. He's always been like so against it. He's like, oh my gosh, don't ever get a tattoo. If you get a tattoo, you'll never be able to give blood and blah, blah, blah. Right. And it's like, okay, relax. Maybe they told you that 40 years ago, but like, you just have to wait a year. So now I'm like praying. I'm like, I hope my dad doesn't need any type of my blood for another year because I'm not gonna be able to give it to him. And then he's going to be like, I told you not to get it.
You'll be all right. It'll be fine.
Oh my gosh. He's a mess. But I kind of went out for Halloween. I'm not gonna lie. I dressed up as Sade. So, that's normally my vibe anyway. It's not anything new.
Yes.
A cute little simple face, a red lip, hoop earrings, and a ponytail boo. You ain't got to tell me twice.
Call it a day.
Okay. And so I was Sade, which was easy. And then we went to dinner. My girl hit me up. We went to dinner. And then all of a sudden it was like, there's a party. Let's go to the party. I was like, a party? Like, all right, let's go. So we went. There was a lot of people there. I was definitely masked up. Yeah, there was a lot of people. And I was also like, let's just stay with like our people, like over here in this corner. Like they were trying to get us. They were like, oh, we're not allowing people over here, right? But we, of course, we're cute. So we sweet talked the security guy into letting us stay where we were. Just because I was like, it's Corona. Like there's so literally in the center of the party, there was like, I mean, tables, but they were all on top of each other. And I was like, ain't nobody care that it's the Rona out here. Like the fact that I'm even here.
This was at a restaurant or this was like a house party situation?
This was like at a house party, but it was like it was like a nice like house. The backyard was insane. It had like 3 different pools, like 3 different areas for pools. There was like a bar area and it was like a sunken in bar, like something that was like built in. Okay. And then there was like, they had food in the back and then like the center, they had like a makeshift stripper pole, which, you know, girls were over there on it. I was like, oh, right.
I mean, live your life, child.
Apparently there was like NBA and NFL players there, but I mean, you know, I wasn't checking for them. So
you're in your corner.
I was in my corner.
I mean, if anything, for Halloween night, you could have popped out. It's the one night of the year. You could do whatever, be whoever. So you could have been an NFL, NBA groupie for that one night.
I was like, all right, well, let me just go get tested now that I.
True.
The way the Rona is set up. But so there was that, and that was fun. And I met, you know, people be out here and they was talking. So, you know, I was looking cute. So somebody was trying to holla.
Hey.
Which I'm going to go hang out with this person later. So that's interesting. But you know, the funny thing is, you guys, I have to catch you up. So remember, I think I told you like a couple weeks ago, I had a date and I was like, I'm so excited about my date this week. No. Well, it got canceled. Okay. So I didn't even ever go on that date. However, yesterday, Miss Akila, you know, we were supposed to be recording, you know, the day before, and then Miss Akila was over here, like she was so sleepy, you know, but you know, I give my girl grace, you know what I'm saying? She answered my phone calls or whatever, but you know what? I give her grace because I did roll up to the house and was like waiting for her to come get me.
She was.
And no response.
When I tell you I was knocked out, I called Ebony afterwards and I was like, oh my God. She knows it's never happened before. I was like in a daze. I was like, what the hell? Like, how did this happen? I was so, because when you gotta drive, especially out here, I'm just like, oh no.
But you called me like 3 hours later. So I already know it wasn't like, you know, a purposeful situation. So like I said, I love my girl, so I give her grace. But this other man, he had pulled up on me, the one that had canceled the date. He had pulled up on me because he was like, oh, what you doing? Like, I just need to see you, you know, because I be putting spells on them. I don't know what it is.
I'm so down with it.
I don't know what it is, girl. I'll be out here in the spooky season putting spells on you. Okay? But he just wanted to see me so bad. And we had a whole nice little low-key a date. We low-key had a date. Thanks, Akila, for setting that up.
You need to thank me. He needs to thank me for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, and I gave you time with your, you know, with your prize. So everything happens for a reason. Okay.
Amen to that. So that happened and it was great. We had a lot of conversations. He's really, I would say he's religious, but he is definitely like really spiritual and like has a vision of possibly like, I don't know, like owning a church or something. And I'm like, do I see myself as like a pastor's wife though? Like, I don't know. Sometimes I like to be loud in these streets. So I don't know how I feel about
every pastor has a past. Okay. Pastors and pastors, so it's fine. They'll be all right with it. They will be okay.
But do I want to give it up forever? Like Akila, that means we can't go wild in these streets no more, girl. I don't know.
I mean, if you watch Real Housewives of Potomac, there's a lot of pastors who seem to not give it up, even though they are men and children of God. So I think, I mean,
you're right, boo.
The lifestyle could be everlasting if you wish. If you wish.
I love it. I love it, girl. What is going on with you? I had a whole mouthful. I had to catch all up. It was a lot.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you caught us up. There was so much going on with me. What's been happening? I feel like it's been a week of honestly grinding, but also some fun. Like, so I'll talk about this weekend mainly. Like, besides the weekdays, I feel like all blend together. It's always work, it's hustling, it's trying to figure things out. Like, I'm thinking right now of like I'm always thinking, like Ebony knows this, always thinking through like, okay, my social media and everything. Like, how do I revamp? What do I do? This and that. And I think I finally got a formula for myself and kind of something I want to do. We'll chat later about it. But I'm like, I'm gonna officially start. That's the whole thing. I gotta officially start. So y'all might catch me on YouTube a little bit more often. And I'm gonna have to like,
yes, I'm so excited for you. And let me just tell you, being committed, this is the problem. I have a phobia of like being committed to things, because the problem is you create an expectation. When you create an expectation, you gotta live up to it. And it's a lot.
And that's it. And it's a lot. And it's a lot when it's not your full-time gig. But I'm like, this is what you want to do. I'm gonna have to just suck it up. It's gonna be longer nights sometimes for the next X years or whatever else until something pops. And I'm just like, you know what? I finally settled in myself or settled in my spirit to be like, all right, this is just going to be a part of your life now. So now that I've made that commitment, I've sort of verbally told y'all now, like the page is not up yet, but come next week, like I'm going to be like, okay, check it out. Here. This is what I talk about, blah, blah, blah. So I'm excited for that. And that was kind of like, that was a big enough step for me. So finally, on top of everything that we're doing with Black Creators Club, which I absolutely love, but I'm like, this is going to be another thing to add to the list. So it's gonna be fun. So that was that week.
We'll have to do like, again, we're gonna do our content creation retreat.
Yes.
And we'll have to like set things up where it's like, whatever we do for Black Creators Club, then it's like, what are we doing for ourselves? So that it all is on the same day at the same time, so we can make it pop,
To just make it pop and make it just a part of like, because I think this is fun, and I think part of the fun is like working with someone else, like, but there's another level when you're doing it solo. So that's the thing where I'm trying to figure out like, get that same enthusiasm, get that same like energy when you're just feeding off of yourself consistently in some sort of echo chamber. So that's what I'm doing. I've decided on that. And that's the first step. The other thing was Halloween. Yeah, Halloween was lit. Like at first, I was going to do a house party and then slowly, I canceled it because I was kind of like, you know what, this is not the moment. This is not the season. and instead went to someone else's, which is not on Halloween night. I didn't go on a Halloween, but I did go Friday to a like little house party to like same situation. I ended up being like a disco queen type of thing. So I was like, okay, I got the frizzy hair. I can do that.
Where was the pics though? I didn't see no pics.
And this is the problem. When you go out and you ask random people to take your photos versus people who are committed and know the value of photos. Because I'm like, these random photos, these were like, if anything is going to be on the story. And honestly, the way this whole weekend set up, especially Sunday, how I was just asleep, I'm considering Monday tomorrow. So that's when I would repost to be like, hey, this is how my weekend started. Okay. This was a wash day. It's fine. This was my version of a Sunday. But that was fun. And it was actually really exciting. Afrotech, if you've heard of Afrotech, they're like, Blavity and Media Group, they started it kind of a thing. And they did this event with R&B House Party, which was kind of like this intimate, like listening group or listening session on a rooftop type of situation. It was cute, overlooking the, place in Hollywood. And Mario actually came out and he was like singing. And I was like, this Mario is literally my boo, like in another world.
He's so fine.
He is so fine. And he's grown now. I mean, he was grown since braid my hair in my mind, but now it's like seriously grown. So he came.
I mean, he's 40.
He's 40. I don't even know his age. He looks like he could be at most 35. I was in 35.
Well, I think he's kind of.
Now it's actually something I need to look up. Give me
look it up. But while you're looking it up, while you're looking up, my another sorority sister was actually at the event and she posted about it, and I looked and I was like, Akila was there. Like I know.
Yes. Wait. Who was I probably didn't meet because I was like, talking to people, etc. But
yeah, her name is Dominique.
What's her name? No, I don't think I met her. He's 34. You're trying to age my boo. He's 34 years old. But no, it was so cute. And so it was a good little event. Kids? Like, again, just I don't think so. I
don't think so either. You better hop on that, Akila. Come on.
That's what I I should have hopped on it there. We took a picture together, but then, you know, I just kind of was just like, hey, if he said something, we'll say something. But these are the moments where you need to be the one to be like, yo, what's up? But I just figure everybody asking him something. So
well, gone
I
inside of them DMs, girl, because you know the DMs, they be up in
and I was telling myself too, I was literally just talking to a friend too about like should I start sliding? Because I do not slide in DMs. Like that is literally, I never have, would not, this and that. But now I'm like, you know what? Why not? Like I feel like that's what you got to do sometimes.
Are we not in 2020?
Let me just tell you, not in 2020. It might be something I got to do. So I might start with Mario. Just aim high.
Girl, aim high,
see where it goes.
Aim for the stars and land on a cloud, boo. That's it. That's
what I'm saying. So honestly, that might be the move. Thanks for the encouragement. I'm gonna go ahead and slide. It's a little, but that was my weekend. And now it's kind of just like back to grind. Like I said, excited for this week. I feel like this week in its own sense has some promise. Like it's the start of a new month. I'm excited. November, that means it's almost holiday time. I love the holidays. So, we're just working through that. But now that we've got through that, let's talk about a little bit about the 2 cents. Like, This is our section where we talk about all the gossip, all the pop culture, everything happening in Black Hollywood to date, what's happened this past week. And one thing we've got to start with is the Shaderoom. The Shaderoom made some major, major changes.
Yes. So I'm going to read a statement that they posted. And basically what they said, it says, the Shaderoom was intended to be a place where we can gather and have conversation. It is a fact that the roommates are the funniest comedians on earth. You all have the most creative, funny, and honest comments on the internet, which is so true. We live for your comments. However, moving forward, there will be a change. Lately, we have seen really harsh and hateful comments. This has increased leading up to the election. We do not enjoy seeing homophobic, fat-shaming, racist, and downright hateful comments. Those types of opinions are not welcome here. We believe that honest and powerful conversations change the world. There is a way to be funny without being hateful. Moving forward, our moderators will be blocking and deleting any profiles leaving comments that fall in these categories. We will be aggressive about this because we do not want to create that kind of environment here. We want to have brutally honest, productive, and fun comments. We believe this can happen without being hateful. Many people do not understand the power of having a destination where our community can meet and discuss our culture. It's extremely powerful, and we want to keep it that way. We love you all. We love all of our roommates, regardless of their differences. Thank you for understanding. Angie.
Yes, and Angie's CEO, founder of the Shaderoom, CEO of the Shaderoom, and getting things done. I think that was a great thing to say, and I think that's something obviously very important. It's really so optics wise, it's great. She put it out right before the election. There's a lot of fake news. There are a lot of things going around to just persuade people to vote one way or the other. That may not be the intention of the Shaderoom, but I also think honestly, just to protect the people that they're talking about on the Shaderoom from getting all these hateful comments within the commentary, like within the comment section, it's something that they needed to finally say. I was at first nervous that this would become a thing now where everyone is being super and overly positive in a sense that's fake, but I don't from the past days since they've come out with that comment and put out the moderator, it seems like it's actually doing the opposite. I feel like people are still being a little hateful, but it's not to the sense or to the expectation that it was beforehand.
Yeah. Well, what's so funny is Twitter actually started doing this. I think right in the beginning of quarantine, where they came out with the idea of having the moderation just because they needed to it's more of a fact checker than it is a moderator, but I guess it does the same thing. Because Trump was, saying craziness and whatever fake news. So people were like, well, we need something that's fact checking the things that people are tweeting. And so they kind of are doing the same thing. The funny thing is people have such opposite polling opinions about what they feel like this is helpful or not. People are screaming freedom of speech. And do you think that this takes away from the fact that, you get freedom of speech with someone moderating or looking at what it is that you're commenting or posting? What do you think?
Yeah, I do think in some sense, yes, but I feel like there needs to be freedom in moderation. I feel like there's a level of of entitlement that everyone assumes once they get on the internet. They feel like they can say anything. They feel like they can talk any type of way. They feel like they can at people and say these hurtful things. I don't think in terms of like, and you know, time will tell if they're literally just blocking every comment that has to do with Trump or being a Republican or saying something that's against the post itself, because then that would be like, yeah, it shouldn't just be a comment page full of people who are agreeing with exactly what was said. But at the same time, I feel like, you know, I've seen the Shade Room comments over the past few months, and the way that some people really like bash and go in on even the slightest of things with people makes it a little fearful. Like I feel like, let's say if the Shade Room even shouted us out, I would be a little worried of like everyone in the comments talking ish. Like, you know, obviously you think you'll get over that, but I think it shouldn't be the first thing where you think, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna talk crap, or somebody's gonna try me, somebody's gonna drag me, etc. Like, and if that's your first response when you think of like someone appearing on the Shade Room, that means there needs to be a change, because that shouldn't be your first response. That people are on that thing ready to like clown you all the way down.
Right.
So I do think, you know, we'll see. I feel like it's a test. We'll see how it works. But y'all got to keep the same energy beyond the election, because it's not just about, you know, getting whoever you want in office. It's more so like, this is a platform that's about pop culture. This is a platform that's about Black entertainment, etc. So if you want to make it that way, you want to have people talk freely, then that's also going to assume some hate too. It's like, it's not always going to be roses. So
yeah, and
has to be some sort of compromise.
I definitely agree. I mean, I feel like, oh, okay, well, I can't say what it is that I want. And it's like, you know what? I feel like there's a time and a place. You get me? Like, if you want to be hateful, mean, and rude, and you know, when you know you're being over the line, you know it. And so if that's the thing, that's kitchen table talk, honey. That doesn't need to be put on the internet.
Yeah.
The conversations that are being had on the Shade Room, I think that the comments are hilarious. In fact, every time now, like,
yeah,
I want to go read the comments after just to hear what people are saying, and some of it's hilarious. Like, I love when I find those posts where people are like really interacting with it. So I definitely agree with you. I feel like it's a time and a place. It doesn't have to be, you know, we can have fun and love on our Black people and make fun of each other and let it be that. But it doesn't have to be hateful. I agree. There's no,
so I mean,
just why? Yeah, just why?
We shall see. You know, there's something else that happened this week that I thought was not hilarious, but I was like, wow, this could be a serious topic. I can't wait to come on the show and chat about it. But there was a recent interview on The Breakfast Club, and they interviewed top dog entertainment artist Reason. He's a newly signed artist with them. Actually, like, you know, just from hearing the interview, I was like, oh, I gotta check out some of his music. I just like his energy. But one thing that he said, and we're gonna have to in some way play the clip for you afterwards, but he was pretty much alluding to the fact that men do not get enough credit for not cheating. So the fact that, you know, you're faithful in a relationship and you're, you know, with your significant other and been faithful for a long time or a long enough span of time, that should be celebrated and rewarded by your partner in some capacity, because it takes a higher amount of energy and a higher amount of just like, you know, self assurance or self checking in a sense for a man to not cheat versus a woman. That's according to Reason. And I was like, oh, okay, this is low-key a hot take. I want to hear what you gotta say. I want to hear what y'all gotta say, to feel free to write us in, but like also, or comment below. But what do you think, Ebony? Should men get more credit for not cheating?
Yo, when you came to me with this, I was like, Akila. And then I went and I heard I went and I listened to the podcast, right? Because it was like, should men get rewarded for not cheating? You know what? No.
Oh.
And what I'm trying to say is this: like, at the end of the day, you both make a choice every day not to cheat. Like, if I'm in a relationship, I'm making a conscious effort every day not to cheat. So my point is, I think when people are cheating, it's an imbalance in the relationship. So like, one's stepping down, like one's not upholding their end. They're not keeping their word. They're being less trustworthy. They're not, you know, stepping up and being the man of the house, or whatever that else looks like for you, whatever your household looks like, or you agreed your household looks like, that someone's falling off their rocket there. And so then you feel like you're finding something else to like entertain yourself for that time being. I feel like every day is a reward that you wake up to your significant other. Every day is a reward that you are with your man or with your woman or with your partner. So that right there should be enough. Like that should be enough. That you waking up to me every day, boo boo, should be enough of your reward for you not to want to cheat. Because look at me. Okay. That's what
Hello. That energy, exactly what we need. But it did make me think. It's not
Oh,
to say that
Lord.
I'm gonna subscribe to these new rules. It did make me think, but I was like, you know what? What do you think about in school and how you get gold stars for coming into class or attendance or, submitting your homework or doing things that you're a student, you should be in grade school, whatever, you should be doing these things. And the teacher rewards you, gives you a star. If you get over a 90 on a test, you probably get a little sticker. You used to get a little sticker on your paper. And I remember used to being hyped for those little things. And I'm like, part of it was like, growing up, Caribbean parents, you were just like, if you're not in school, what are you doing? I could never take a sick day. There was never, if you're not getting below a 90, you're wasting both of our time. So it was not even like a situation where I shouldn't have been getting these grades or going to school. But getting that little encouragement from a teacher made me actually want to say, oh my gosh, I can't wait to get the sticker. I used to take the stickers off, put in my little notebook. I was a nerd, but do things like that. And I'm like, this is that same energy, low key, that he's talking about. Okay. I think it's kind of like, what the heck? Like, obviously you shouldn't be cheating on me. That's the whole point of being in a relationship. And yes, I am the prize. So you're welcome every day. I text you good morning, good night. You're welcome. I'm here. But I think he may have, positive reinforcement is a real thing. And okay, I think it's gotta be, he's got a point here.
I think he has a point. But I'm saying let me, and I said what I said. I said what I said, but I'm going to add a little subtitle to that. Right. Okay.
Okay. So give us a little footnote, give us a little end note situation, asterisk, if you will. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to give the footnote of just being conscious in your relationship that I do think that you should be doing special things for your significant other, right? Like it should be, it's like a just because gift. If it's flowers, if it's, getting a little crazy at nighttime, how he like it, like whatever it is that he wants you to do, like you should do that. Treat him, take him on a vacation, like same difference. But okay, Keela, question for you, Bull. So if you're in a relationship, what's your prize? What you want to get a little thank you? What's your little thank you prize?
Yeah, that's a great question, because my whole thing was like, don't make the assumption that it's easier or harder for a man. Some of these women out here are trying their darndest to stay with you. So and stay committed. The DMs are flooding, the comments are happening, and they say, I'm with you, So I think, what would be my prize? I don't know. I feel like you gotta cook. I love when a man can cook. So I'm like, if you can throw down something, and if you decided to make a meal, that really speaks to me, because I think that encompasses time, that encompasses effort, that encompasses taking into things that you think I would like and just trying something new. Shorty loves gifts, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, no.
What kind of gift you want? Diamonds, boo? What you want, boo?
Diamonds are a girl's best friend. So I love some diamonds. I love some bags. Love some clothes. Anything. I'm not on some sweetie, like, if you don't pay up, give me a Birkin and pay my bills, I'm not with them. But that's not what it is. But I'm more so of the notion of buy me things if or to the level of I can get on my own too. I can buy this on my own. And if you're deciding, with me being together, us being together, gifts is the thing you want to do, I'm all for it. So I say food is great, gifts is great, physical touch is my element. So I'm between that, I sound like I want it all because of that. And then I was like, oh, positive affirmations. I'm like, tell me I'm cute, tell me I'm beautiful,
listen,
things of that nature.
You better claim it in the name of Jesus.
Listen.
You better claim it now.
Where's that pastor with the future church? Just tell me, I'm gonna put something in a scroll. And on his first day, I want him to open up the scroll, read it out, and says, someone in the congregation asked for this 5 years ago. I want to make sure she's getting it. And I'm gonna be like, amen, it's happening. Okay, it's happening.
Girl, I'm gonna have him lay hands on you, boo. I'm gonna have him
do it all. Exactly. I think that's it. I can't name one specific thing. I feel like I love also the element of surprise. So any combination of three, is always a cute look. Just show that I'm important to you in some capacity.
And so I think that's important.
That's kind of what it is.
Maybe that was his point. And I don't feel like men over women, in my opinion. I know he's a man, so he's like, it's just in our nature to just want to be out here, right? Like, but
that's a cop out too, right?
Right, an excuse on every day of the week. But I think his point is, if you with somebody, appreciate them, show them you appreciate them. You showing up every day, like how I feel is like when I'm dating, like you calling me every day ain't it. Just because you call me every day don't mean that like, oh, okay, now we're like that's showing me that you showed up. Like, nah, that's doing the bare minimum. Like, I'm gonna need you to do something else. So I understand what he's saying. He was like, we in a relationship, I need you to just put it on me real good. Tell me something sweet in my ear.
Say it. Right.
Something nice. Okay.
Talk to me nice. I hear it.
Talk to me nice.
I mean, there it is. There it is. Okay. You know who was doing a lot of talking over the week? Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is back with his quarantine radio. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a constant thing, but last week, he sure enough got up on Instagram and started his quarantine radio again. And people were tuning in. People were giving him like, you know, the hands emojis, like just tuning in. I feel like some people who also were talking smack in some sense about him also were in. So, you know, some people were obviously just in for the drama. But there was one caller who literally made him hang up. And a caller came in, it sounded with like a London voice or London accent, British accent, I should say. And he was just like, I think, what did he say? I forget the exact word, but kind of like, you shot Megan. And the whole thing stopped. And my whole thing is the boldness of getting back on quarantine radio. Do you think it was time? Do you think he should have just wrapped it up? Was this what he deserved? Like, Tory.
That's how I feel. Tory. Like, bruh, like it's too soon. And I don't know when it's not going to be too soon, but right now it's too soon. Like, people are still in their feelings about Meg. Meg is still riding that stallion real good. And I just don't understand, like, you getting on quarantine radio. The fact, the balls that you would even get on quarantine radio to talk about something so irrelevant. Like, I don't even think the case is settled. I don't even know anything. So you need to just take a seat. Okay. And even if you said, now, according to him, allegedly he ain't shoot her, right? Allegedly, that's what he said. But she said he did. So again, we don't know the full story because the man didn't really say much of much. You know what I'm saying? But until you really come out with a statement that sounds like, and the thing is, even if you didn't shoot her, the fact that you didn't even say, I'm sorry that happened. It's so unfortunate that like this would happen to my friend. Like, you didn't come to her defense. So in my eyes, you looking guilty. Okay. So I don't want to see nothing about no quarantine radio. Like, bye, you are canceled. What happened to you being canceled? What happened to that?
That's the thing. And I'm like, I don't know if it's because it's literally happening to him. You know, if something happens to you, you feel like 1 minute feels like 10, feels like an hour long. So he probably feels like it's been so long because people are on his back and they've been on his back for so long about this. Something that I believe he did, but at the same time, it's like, whatever. We'll say allegedly just for allegedly's sake. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like he just feels like it's been so much longer than it really has. Like, no, it literally seems like it just happened yesterday. And because it's been dragged down. From the moment it happened, it took forever for Megan to say anything. It then took a while for you to come back and say something. Now the court, I think, are still, charges are still being deliberated, and we still have no closure as the public. So, if you ever come back on quarantine radio, that's the first thing everyone's going to ask about. Like, you need to address it. What's going on? Like, you need to address it. You need not to address it in an album, but you need to actually address it. You can't just move on yet. Like, it's not over. It feels, I'm sure, it feels like forever to him.
Yeah, but you can't move on because you haven't said nothing. You haven't said nothing. No. Like, how are you gonna move on from something you ain't say nothing about? Like, you think it's just gonna go away? It ain't it. Like, the culture.
That's not how it goes.
Right now, we all banding together real close right now. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to be a part of the culture, Bill, you gotta abide by the rules, and that's just what it is. You out here being defiant.
And that's just what it is. And that out here being defiant, you being the ops. And my thing is like, he doesn't seem to have a lot of, at least from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem to have a lot of support from the rap community for him to just come out and just act like nothing happened. Like, no, like, if anyone who has more clout in this situation, it's Megan. And so it's kind of like, even let's say if it was the shoe was on the other foot, like, no pun intended, but what if it was Megan who shot Tory and then she came back and did something? Like, I feel like that she has more clout to get away with something like this, like now, versus him. It's like, you don't even have the people in your inner circles or whatever in the community on your side to help you make this blow over. It seems like everyone is looking at you like a clown. So it's like, you have to stay quiet. You need to.
Well, yeah, I mean, right now,
this wasn't the right move.
I think right now you're looking like a clown for the simple reason of the fact that, like, you're a man, like, you're a whole man, and you know what I'm saying? And we're all right now talking about, like, protecting Black women, protecting the Black community, and you're out here doing harm to it. It just looks so, like, fraud. It just looks crazy. I'm over it. We canceling Tory Lanez and that quarantine radio. Bye.
Listen, go on silence, honey. Radio silence.
Speaking
of radio silence. Speaking of fraud, though, or potential for fraud, I feel like that's literally all everyone has been concerned about with the election. People have been just kind of up in arms and in their own sense about, like, what does it mean right now? We're in some scary times, like, and this is you're going to be listening to this the day of, perhaps the night of the election or post the election, but we're still. This is the eve. This is the night before election day, the night before what's supposedly People's Day. And I feel like this is the first election where, for me at least, a friend of mine was like, oh, let's come watch the election night together, et cetera. And I'm like, I low-key don't even want to be outside election night. Something about it just feels like, I see on CNN, people are boarding up different businesses because they're just like, this is crazy. The White House erected this huge fence around there. Like, this is not what happens usually in democratic countries. And everything about this election has been weirdo town. So, I mean,
it's been a weirdo year, weirdo election, weirdo everything. It's just like everything's been so crazy. And the fact that, I mean, I was talking to someone and they were like, yeah, like, I went to the grocery store and, like, the shelves were empty again. And I was like, not again.
I hear it.
Like, no, I can't take the apocalyptic, like, vibe of it all. Like, and I know that people are going to be crazy. And tomorrow, thank gosh, I have the day off tomorrow. Just, if you wanted to be in an election or if you wanted to do polling or something, that you're able to do that. But I'm just like, it's going to be so crazy tomorrow. And I'm not looking forward to whatever the heck is going on. And we just pray that whatever happens, it's for the betterment of the country. That is what that's what we hope for. And that's what we want. And I feel like, do you feel like with either candidate, do we feel like Black America is protected?
I do feel like, both have come out with their own, like, Black agenda or Black plan. I think one is called, what is it? The Platinum Plan. The other one, I forget what Biden called his. It's hard to say because, I hear the saying of don't look for saviors from your oppressors, in a sense. And I think that's, in a sense, how I feel about either candidate, how I feel about, like, the looking so high up to the presidential suite for these kind of answers. I feel like, it's all local. That's where my focus is. That's where my focus has been. And I feel like that's where real change is really going to happen. I think it's great to have, like, a face and someone who represents all of us, even if not in their physical attributes, then at least in their mental and what they're saying and how they feel. And it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell really with either, but obviously, just based on principle and just based on at least history, it's Democrats all day, the Democrats all day, but at the same time, listen, who knows with this agenda? I'm not, apathetic to it, but at the same time, I'm more so like, where can I actually see what I'm saying actually taking effect and actually making a difference? And I think it's local. So that's kind of where my focus is. What about you?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel like with either candidate, it is just, I don't know. I feel like it's just an interesting time period. But all I want to do, especially with what we're doing, is just continue to amplify and encourage the Black voice. And so I feel like no one's going to look out for us more than us. And for us just to continue the ride. I know, like, in the beginning of quarantine with all the protests, like, there's been so much, like, support and eyeballs on Black lives and Black Lives Matter. which is amazing. I hope we continue to keep that same energy. But I would just encourage all of like our people to just continue to do that as well. Like we don't need the president to endorse what it is that we're doing or not doing. I think us as a community should just continue to like band together, stay together, stick together, buy from Black businesses, and continue to listen to Black podcasts like this one. I really encourage you guys to just continue to love and support us. We appreciate you guys. We're already on episode 13. So crazy. And, you know, consistency is key, and we appreciate that. So thank you so much for continuing to like, subscribe, comment. You guys know you can listen to us on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube. So we definitely have all our bases covered, and we want to just continue to give you guys this platform to talk about hot topics that are happening in the community. We're here to love on you guys and to support you. So please do the same. Okay.
Yes. Like us everywhere at the Black Creators Club. Email us, theblackcreatorsclub@gmail.com. We're going to probably start reading out like your emails. If you got fan questions, if you have things you want to say, people you want us to feature, reach out. You know, you never know. You might make it on air.
Okay.
I mean, but it's a lot. And I think, I mean, it's a great subject. And I feel like we're going to obviously have our update regardless next week. So I'm like anticipating. It feels like it's a countdown to something, child. And I don't know what it's a countdown to. I don't know what it's to. But we're looking out for it, and we're gonna see what happens. Either way, I think we got to know how to move within the community, how to move within ourselves. And I feel like that's kind of the lesson I've taken away from all of this, from the presidential campaign, the presidency so far. It's like, what are we going to do for ourselves in a sense? Because, you know,
the ghetto.
Yeah, the ghetto. You know what I want to ask whether or not this is ghetto. The fact that we also heard this week, you know how we love to keep it hot. We love to keep it recent. There's another, you know, speaking of our main topic, or one of our main topics, is the idea of, are your parents to blame for your current BS? So for instance, we now know that NBA Youngboy is the father of the child to be with Yaya Mayweather. She's pregnant with his umpteenth child. And, you know, it is what it is. But Floyd Mayweather actually sat down with Hollywood Unlocked's Jason earlier, I think last week, and discussed pretty much the fact that Yaya's about to be a mom, and it's going to be a mom to the child of NBA Youngboy, a guy who recently kind of talked about Floyd in a disrespectful way, in that whole, oh, you're talking about my wife video, that whole thing that went viral, how he talked about, I think your bitch ass daddy is what he said, or something along those lines. I'm like trying to read it out in a sense that I'm like, are you talking about Floyd Mayweather? You're talking about somebody's dad to a to a woman that you're supposed to like love, so in a sense.
Is Yaya married to this man?
Oh, no, not married, child, not married.
So who has the wife?
Gonna be baby mama. Well, wife that's a, you know what, and that is the intellect that we need. That is the intellect we need in 2020, because with these women, because wifey, a wife, none of that means nothing. Do you have the certificate of marriage? Do you have the ring, etc.? No, they're not married. He just called her his wife in that video. He probably calls her his wife now. I don't know if they're actually dating actively or not. What we do know is that she will be having his child.
Right.
And, you know, Floyd, in response to that, finally sat down with, he never really actively responded to it before this. And that's why this is kind of more news. Sat down and pretty much said, you know, literally, she's 18 now, she's grown, I did what I can type of thing. And this is, I don't really interject myself in my child's life in this sense. Right. Like, you know, I don't really interject myself in what my child does. Like, it's her decisions at this point. It's pretty much nothing to do with me, but I don't interject in the same way that you do when you're parenting a child. And I thought that was interesting because, you know, for one, do you think at age 18 or whatever that it's perfectly fine now for a parent to be like, you know what, you lived your life, I'm out of this, it's none of my business? Or is that still your business? Like, you know, like, is that still, as your child, is that still something that you should be able to get involved in?
I feel like that's a very like interesting scenario, and I really feel like it's so hard for me to really, really, really dig in on this because I'm not a mom and I don't know how I'm gonna act, and I don't want to
Mhm.
misquote myself and be like, oh my god, at a certain age you should just totally let your kids go and like do their thing, and all you can do is love
Yeah.
them from a distance and just support them in their decisions. And ideally, that is exactly what you should do. And I totally agree with Floyd. I mean, she's grown, she's doing her thing, whatever. However, I do feel like as a mom, as a parent, period, I feel like you always want to protect your child. You want to be there for them. Um, I guess she's been dating him for however long. So I'm assuming Floyd knows who this man is and has been around him and whatever. Um, you can say your opinions, doesn't mean that your kid's going to listen. So that's another thing. So there's no reason for you to even raise your blood pressure trying to like get them to do something that, they're going to do anyway. But yeah, I mean, ideally, I feel like I would want to be a very involved parent. I'd probably want to be like, what are you doing? Do you think that that's a good idea? Do you think,
Yep.
you want to do that? Are you sure?
Right.
Like, I think I am definitely going to be that person because I'm like that with my friends. So I'm going to
Right.
be like that with my child.
That's what I think too. And I think, I don't know, like you said, I'm not a mother either, so you never know until you're in this position or in that position. So I'm not casting any judgment, but at the same time, I'm like, listen, you are my child as long as I'm on this earth. and that means I'm going to be involved. I may not say, this is what you got to do. You don't do this, you're going to get a beating, you're going to get punishment, you're grounded. Like, we can't do any of that these days. Like, you're 18 at the end of the day. Like, you're grown in government standards. But at the
Right.
same time, like, I would hope to have cultivated some sort of relationship that you still feel some sort of like respect for me enough to let me know what's happening in your life and respect for me and me having respect for you enough to say, I'm not going to just let you go on any old path, because at the end of the day, yes, I hope I raised you right, but life still happens and you're still learning, you're still growing, and you're doing things that I have done or have seen in some capacity when I was younger. So I'm going to interject myself where I can. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do, but if I could help you avoid some stuff, I can help you avoid some stuff. I feel like
Yeah.
he said that in a way to just kind of like take the pressure off of him and of Yaya, in the sense of like feeling like he probably failed as a dad, which I don't think most people think, but at the
Well, I
same
mean,
time, it's kind of like, what's going on? You've had everything, and now this random dude who doesn't really have much to offer is you're really him out of anything you
right.
could have had in life, and that's what I think a lot of people are saying.
It's so funny. It's just such like an opposite of like Ti, right? Who's like saying my
Mm-hmm.
daughter's still a virgin and this, and like I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
gynecologist and like with her to make sure she's still a virgin and like super hands on and too involved and like all up in
Mm-hmm.
his daughter's business, and then aired it on the internet. Lord have mercy.
That's so
Um,
sad. Yeah.
right. So it's like that extreme to someone who's like completely hands off. See, like my parents are both very like wonderful, supportive. They like kind of let me do my thing. My mom's never given me like too many rules or like too many um restrictions. So, and in a sense, it never made me feel like I needed to disobey her to like do anything. She'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
just call and text me where you are. So I never felt like I'm not sneaking out of the house, I'm not sneaking boys in, I'm not
Right.
doing any of these things, because if I wanted to hang out with you, I would just be like, hey mom, this is what I want to go do. She'd be like,
Right.
okay, be safe. Like there wasn't ever any crazy thing going on. My dad probably would have been more strict if I lived with him, but now our relationship is just so chill. So it's like I both have very two chill parents who would support and love me with no matter what decisions I make. My dad would probably have more to say and be like, all right now, like I told you, can't
Yep.
nobody say I didn't tell you now. Okay. So if you end up on the stripper pole, that's on you. Like that's him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a mixture of just like knowing your child in a sense, like maybe they were more lenient because they knew you were not going to be out in these streets reckless, whereas with other children, you kind of just have that instinct with
Yeah.
children. Like, they can be as young as they want to be, but they really do show their personalities early. Like I have nieces and nephews and I know which one is going to give more trouble than the other and who you probably have to have a closer eye on versus the next. And probably this is one of those situations. Another thing that Floyd mentioned in that interview was the fact that it kind of starts in the home, in response to how NBA Youngboy was talking about Floyd. He was like, listen, that kind of behavior starts in the home, like pretty much blaming NBA Youngboy's parents for the fact that he feels it's okay to call another grown man out of his name, who's again kind of the father of the girl that you're dating. And in response to that, NBA Youngboy's mom pretty much said, you can do all you can, but it's the child at the end of the day. Like, it's really the child. Like, you could do all, you could teach all you want. Well, the child is going to take what they want, leave what they don't want. And it is what it is. And so that's, that was another part of that conversation that I thought was interesting. Her response, because she was pretty much like, don't blame me. I did all I could do. And that child is who he's going to be and who he is. Right. Do you believe that? Or do you feel like it's really, no, I think actually you as a parent probably instilled or didn't instill some of those things that you should have?
Yeah, I want to like touch on two things here. One is just like with Floyd, I don't know what the relationship is like with his daughter, but what I can infer from just his job and whatever, I'm sure he traveled a lot. I'm sure he was gone a lot. I'm sure he wasn't there as much as maybe he would have liked to or could have been. And that was just the nature of the way the cookie crumbled. I know he takes care of all his family members. I know they're all, they want for nothing. He makes sure that everyone's taken care of, and I know that. However, well, I don't know that, but from what he
from
says,
what we hear, right.
From what we hear, that's what it sounds like. But I also feel like having a male figure in the household really does a lot different for a girl, and giving that great influence on, okay, like this is what you need to do. This is how you handle a man. And maybe it's the way you talk to them. Again, I can't infer too much because I don't know a lot about their relationship. Right. The other thing was, can you ask me the question again, girl? What was the question?
Oh, just pretty much if it's a child at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, it's a child.
Mm-hmm. Right. So it's like that nature versus nurture thing. I think definitely there's personalities of children that, they are just born with, and that is a personality. Again, I don't have kids, so it's so hard for me to really give a great opinion on this, but I really do feel like it is a nurture thing, because if you're really paying attention to your kid, then you would know what it is that they need, right? Like, because I literally just had this conversation with a friend, and I was like, what about all those kids that like go to those schools and do crazy things, like to kindergartners and second graders and Sandy Hook and like all of these crazy mass shootings that happen. How does that kid, like, because they interview the parents, and the parents are like, I don't know what happened to Timothy. Like, he was just such a sweet little boy. And it's like, well, then what the heck happened? The thing is that you're leaving them alone too long. You're not interacting with them. Maybe you're not as available as you think. You're doing the best you can as a mom. Maybe you're single. Like, I don't know, NBA, what's his name?
NBA Youngboy.
NBA Youngboy. I don't know what his mom was doing to raise him. You get what I'm saying? Because maybe she's a single mom. Maybe she had to work 2 jobs. Maybe she wasn't there to help you with your homework. So yeah, you did all you could do, but maybe it just wasn't the best. You get what I'm saying? Like, right. Clearly he was still found his way to the streets or whatever it is that he was doing to get himself into some trouble and to have 40 kids. It's just like, there's other things. So yeah, you did all you could do, but it just wasn't enough, boo. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I can't. And like we always say with a caveat, we are 2 single women doing our thing right now, young as hell. This is not our life. But at the same time, it's like, I'm hard pressed because sometimes if I'm even thinking about doing something crazy, I remember like around that age or whatever, I was thinking about doing something wild. Like, I would think of my mom, like, oh my God, what would she say to this? Or my friends, what would they say to this? Or like me personally, my own morals. I'm like, what would I really feel like this in the morning? And I think it's because you may not have to see every situation through, but you kind of know when something you're doing is wrong. You kind of know when something you're doing, you shouldn't be in the space that you're supposed to be in. Are you supposed to be at that party right now? Are you supposed to be talking to this boy, this girl right now? Like, I don't think so. Sometimes you do it anyway, but a lot of times you at least know.
But you have that
moral compass. You have that moral compass, or you should. Right. And I think some of it happens again because of how you're raised. And I feel like it's a thing where I'm not going to ever blame it all on the mom, on the dad, because you can sometimes do all you can, but some people are truly rebellious spirits. Sometimes it's the neighborhood, and it's unfortunate. Some people can't get out and do this and that, like, or have someone who really like, checks them and say like, okay, you can do more than what you're doing now. But
maybe you do, and maybe you do, maybe you're lazy. Maybe you don't want, you don't have the drive. Maybe you don't. So, I mean, it is hard to really tell what it is. There's so many different things and demons people are battling on a daily basis. So it's like, you just have no clue. Like, it could be the fact that he felt like he didn't have, someone there constantly on him, and maybe he needed that. And people who do have him like this, maybe they don't need that. Like, it's it's a formula, honey, and you got to figure it out. I don't know what to tell y'all.
Child. Well, we waiting for the baby to drop. I don't know what else to say about this. We'll see what happens.
Good luck to that baby.
Good luck to that. Good luck. And, let's move into some Black excellence news. All right. Let's talk about something sweet. Let's talk about the BCC Spotlight of the week. This week, I feel like, something that was excellent too was just the way that the community as a whole shut it down for Halloween. Like, I was here for all of the imagery, of the pictures, seeing the parties that was happening, and just like the creativity, child. There was so much happening. Let's run down some of our favorites. Like, who did you love the best? I know for me, someone who just completely shut it out of the water was this model named Tabria Majors. She recreated Beyonce, like a lot of her iconic videos, and homegirl, I was like the production, like literally the budget, budget to like shut it down, and the preparation. Like, you knew on October, I'm going to drop this, October 31st, I'm going to drop this, and people are going to be shook. And that we were. She's already popping in general. She's already very famous, great plus size model, etc. But like this, I think took her over the top. It was like, wow.
I think that this helped definitely take her viral, because I didn't know who she was until this thing. And she had to have this plan last year, because there's no way. And then she added in the little extra Black is King thing, because there's just no way that you're learning choreography, getting outfits together, getting all of this scenery and production and lights and camera and action and all that together in like a week. No way. You literally had this filmed and planned since last year for sure, if not longer. For sure.
If not longer. People had to sign them NDAs and be quiet about it. And they were like, just wait until Halloween this year. I got it. And that you did. Like, it was great. It was next level. I was like, what? I mean, and this is kind of the fun of Halloween. It's like, no one's going to clown you. And even if they do clown you for being extra, who cares? Like, but this was really a moment that was like, you could be as extra as you want to be. And everyone is just like here standing for the creativity. So that was amazing. Who else did you love? Oh, you know who else? Let me just say real quick, Sky Jackson. I mean,
that one?
She Foxy Brown. Sky was Foxy Brown, and the photo that she had, like, for Foxy, it was iconic. I was like, oh my God, like, she's grown, first of all, officially. I'm like, this is someone I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to see her in a grown-up light versus the Disney Channel star that she was. But I loved it. Even the poses, sitting on the couch, everything, like Foxy, she did Foxy justice there. She did that.
She did great. The other one that I loved was Ryan Destiny as Lauryn Hill. That was literally, but first when I saw it,
double take.
I literally was double take.
Yes.
I was like, is this Lauryn Hill? And then I like clicked, I like swiped over, and I was like, oh wait, no, this is Lauryn Hill. I was like, who is this? And I went back and I was like, oh, Ryan Destiny, what? She looks so much like her. And I never even put the two together until she did that. Like, it was insane. She looked so good. It was one of those
moments. So good. Beautiful. She's so beautiful.
That was amazing. And then Russell Wilson and Ciara, they first of all had 1,010 costumes. They were clearly bored up in quarantine, because she did Cardi B with her son Future. He was Offset. That was cute. She was Nicki Minaj in that little
Nicki, I don't know if she did Nicki the way she needed to do Nicki. I'm like, Lil Nas X did Nicki, but like, I'm a Nicki fan. Like, but Lil Nas,
he did that.
Listen,
he did that. He really did that.
Yes.
But then when the little baby Win, he was a little lion. He looks
they're just so cute.
But I know the one I know you want to talk about is the Janet Jackson and Busta Rhymes, baby. That was so cute.
They shut that down. It was super cute. They were dancing together. Russell and his little awkward moves, but I'm like, oh my God, he's so cute. Like, both of them, they were just.
But they committed, and I think that's why it was so cute, because he had the little dread thing going on. And he tied him up, girl. I was like, he done outdid himself. Okay.
That's it. I'm like, that's it. It's like, if you're gonna do it, just do it right, man. Just commit to it and have a good time. And they all did. I mean, there are a lot of showstoppers behind what we noticed. I mean, if there's anyone else that y'all love, like, feel free to just, let us know, comment below on it. But like, these were probably our favorites.
Those are our favorites.
Easily our favorites.
Yep. I don't have anyone else to add. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. They made the list. Probably next year, the rest of them. Who knows? But this was such a fun show. I feel like this was like a catch-all of like all the pop culture dish that we had this week. We had a lot of great things, so many good topics, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for taking the time to join us at the Clubhouse per usual. Hope you enjoyed the convo today. Again, you can find me on all socials, mainly Instagram at Tequila Friend, because I'm your best friend. That's 2 F's in my name. Evan A, where can they find you?
You can find me at Ebony Chapman 12, just like my tattoo, y'all. So
yes, there it is. And you can, oh my God, I didn't make that connection before, but now it's cemented. And you can find us, the Black Creators Club, again on all socials at the Black Creators Club. And we love you. So see us next week where we talk more about things that we love, perhaps bring on a guest. You never know. Talk to you soon.
bye.